Yes, good afternoon, everybody. And come on, Burton, I believe is what we say today. Burton currently playing West Ham United. Come on, Burton. I know that's very childish of me. How very immature. But come on, Burton. So it's been confirmed. It should come as absolutely no surprise to anyone after Tottenham have now announced that Igor Tudor has joined Tottenham until the end of the season with no option to stay on. He knows his remit. He knows his role. And let's be brutally honest, shall we? The worst kept secret in the world of football is that Spurs are going to probably have Mauricio Pochettino back for next season. Now, I don't know. Football's a funny game, but there's too much noise around it. What's that old saying? You know, there's no smoke without fire. There's a pretty big fire somewhere, isn't there? There's a pretty big fire somewhere. And Tottenham Hotspur. Look, I just saw someone post in the chat and I thought, God, that's exactly where I'm at with it. And I'm going to bring that up. By the way, during the show, you're going to go for about an hour and 15, hour and 20 maximum today. I'm going to invite members on or any YouTubers. Come on, have their 5 minutes, have their say, and then move on. Just so you know, if I do like any of the segments that we have, I will be clipping them up and putting them out as a video. So if you're not comfortable with that, then I'm just giving you the heads up now. Yeah, I saw this in the chat. And look, hello to every single one of you. I hope you're all well. I saw this in the chat. And my man, Mark, I think he's kind of hit the nail on the head, right? Lots of people are saying this. Literally don't feel anything about the appointment. Enoch, Vinay, and Lang have drained the enthusiasm from me. If we stay up, we stay up. If we don't, it's a deserved relegation. Now, whilst I don't agree with the last bit, it'll be disastrous to get relegated. It is difficult, isn't it, to show enthusiasm when this club changes every 5 minutes? Like again, this is, this will be our 7th manager in 6.5 years. The next manager next year will be the 8th manager in 7 years. It's how do you possibly, as a fan, get to the stage where you've got any, this is good. We're building and direction and a plan. And I'm exactly where Mark is. I genuinely don't feel anything. You know, the news came through. Normally I'm like, oh my God, I must go live immediately. But just a bit, that's not, I'll be honest, that's not Igor Tudor. That's not me having anything against him. It's just the way this club is run is absolutely dreadful, right? We can all pretend it's not. And you'll get the people who go, oh, we're the greatest club in the world. I saw that Swedish bloke, Alex, the other day. You know the one I'm on about. Going, oh, Sava says he loves our club but puts us down. No, just because I tell the truth about the state that we're in doesn't mean that I don't love the club. Also, find it hilarious. 40 years of supporting the club, being told that you don't support the club is truly funny. I remember being there, wet, miserable nights in the 80s. That's right, the 80s. We're now in the 2026s, right? We're in the 2026s. It's there 40 years ago. But hey, not a real fan. It's crazy, isn't it? If you acknowledge that, hey, we're not a massive club compared to XYZ, oh, you're not a real fan, you're gassing them up. Really? Is that like me saying we're not as big as Real Madrid? Oh, you're not a fan. Yeah, don't worry that they're the biggest club in the world. These people just make me laugh so much. Hey, it is or what it is. Look, dude, you're going to get blocked, aren't you? I mean, what a dickhead. You're just going to get blocked. Just imagine, right? I'm going to say this. Just imagine what an awful job your parents have done bringing you up, that you have to make a different troll account all the time and do things like this. Take that how you will. Maybe go and have a word with your mum and dad. Ask them to sit you down and maybe slap the shit out of you a little bit for being a twat. I don't know. Just putting it out there. Honestly, when people say to me, why do you want to leave YouTube? God, it's just full of morons, isn't it? It's just absolutely full of dickheads like that. Let's have a look who that channel was. Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was who I thought it was. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, listen, man, I haven't got time for it. Can you imagine? I'd hate to think that if my parents were still alive, I'd hate to think that they thought I was someone, right, that would make fake accounts with stupid pictures just to troll people. Imagine those people one day are going to have kids. Let that sink in. They're going to be bringing children into this world. Twats like this are going to be bringing children into this world. This is so worrying. Well, that's if someone will sleep with them. Never mind. Probably not, the dumb twat. Anyway, how are you all? No, by the way, I'm not angry. I just don't take idiots like Sam. We all know who that is. So what's been said this morning before I get people on? For anyone that wants to come on, if you are a member of mine, then the link is in the community page. If you are a member of mine or if you're a fellow YouTuber, the link is in the community page. And you're more than welcome to come on. Let's just see what's being said, shall we? So Tottenham Hotspur here have said, we are pleased to confirm the appointment of Igor Tudor as the men's head coach until the end of the season, subject to a work permit. Yes. Yeah. Subject to the work permit. Look, it's are you bigging up Sam? Are you bigging up that guy? Surely you're not. Surely you are not, right? Bigging up that troll, but fine, sure. Anyway. So let's see what they went on to say then, shall we? Because we've got some quotes. Mate, you're just going to get blocked. See you later. Let's have a look what the quotes were, shall we? So there's some stuff from Igor Tudor. He said this. So he said here, we are pleased to confirm the appointment of Igor Tudor as the head coach until the end of the season, subject to a work permit. Igor joins us with a clear focus to improve performances, deliver results, and move us up the Premier League table. His mandate is straightforward. Bring organisation, intensity, and competitive edge to the squad at a decisive stage of the campaign. Good luck. Good luck to that. Good luck to that with the squad the way it is. Speaking about his arrival, this is what Igor said. He said it's an honour to join this club at an important moment. I understand the responsibility I've been handed, and my focus is clear: to bring greater consistency to our performances and compete with conviction in every match. Okay, we're going to see if that's true, aren't we? He's gone on to say there is a strong quality in this squad. We'll talk about that in a minute. I think I don't think so. And my job is to organise it, energise it, and improve our results quickly. On the appointment, sporting director Johan Lang said Igor brings clarity, intensity, and experience of stepping into challenging moments and producing impact. We'll talk about that in a bit as well. Our objective is straightforward: to stabilise performances, maximise the quality within the squad. I love that they keep saying this just to cover their asses that they didn't actually do anything in the last two transfer windows, and compete strongly in the Premier League and the Champions League. I love this. We're back to doing this, aren't we? We're back to let's compete on all fronts. Brilliant. As a Serie A title winner with Juve as a player and a former Croatian international, Igor has regularly delivered improvements following mid-season appointments. After spells with a range of clubs, including Galatasaray, Udinese, Hajduk Split, and Hellas Verona, Igor led Marseille to a third-place Ligue 1 finish in 22-23, securing Champions League qualification. In March 2024, he joined Lazio, delivering a strong finish to their Serie A campaign to secure Europa League qualification. And most recently, Juventus guided them to the Champions League, having arrived in March 2025. Listen, I'm going to bring some guests on. By the way, no, he wasn't blocked for saying something. He's created a fake account with my picture. I don't understand this. He was not blocked for having an opinion. The number of times I have said to that guy, just be normal when you come in the chat and you're fine. He goes on every other show, bitching about me, calling me names. He then turns up into my chat when I unblock him and makes an account with my picture. And And people go, blocked for saying so. No, it was blocked for being a dickhead. What are we doing here? Wow, the world is full of weird, weird people. Let's get rid of that and let's bring in Ryan. 1 second. Oh, let's get this sorted. There we go. Ryan, how you doing, my man? You okay?
Oh, I wish I was, mate. This club is literally, after this week, I'm taking a break until the World Cup, mate, with my channel because it's absolutely ridiculous. My mental health has gone right downhill because of this club. I'm not watching no games. I'm not going to be recording anything. And there's obviously my work colleague, well, I call him a work colleague, but he's more of a friend than anything because he's going to have to take the full load all on his own because I can't do it. And it's this board, it's Enoch that have done this to me. I'm done with it, Sam. And then just hearing that just a minute ago, nah, that's just it. It's just them covering their own backs, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because, you know, Enoch constantly put us in this mess. Whatever we think of any manager or any player, they're the constant. They've constantly put us in this mess. And then they're very good at their marketing and PR. They're very good at, listen, with this quality squad that we've assembled, the manager has got every chance to blood. And you think, I'm not so sure. So are they flying under the radar a bit here? You know, I'm not saying Frank didn't need to go, but Frank's now public enemy number one. But again, I'm not surprised by what we're seeing because of the shit windows we keep having. Do you think they're going a little bit under the radar by a lot of fans, the Enoch?
By a lot of fans, yes. By me, no, because I've got my pitchforks out and my fireballs, my flamethrowers ready for them because like it's literally. I'm sorry, Sam. It's the way it is. I just don't. But what really got my back, right? And the reason why I was Enoch out is because when they didn't back Poch with no. Oh God, my brain's all over the place. When they had no signings. And like that's when when I was like, I've had enough of this. That's really what irked me. I should have really been Enoch out a lot earlier after when they sacked Joel halfway through the game, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. But then, do you know what the funny thing is that they always do, and they fooled me for far too long. Right? Is that they tell you it's all going to be better, and they pull the wool over your eyes, and then it's the same old rubbish every single time. And you know, the only time we ever, right, Sav, ever spend on season pros is when we are not in Europe.
Yeah, no, you're very right. It feels like we have better windows when we're not, when we're trying to get back into Europe, rather than we've qualified for the Champions League, let's go and really kick on. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I remember the window with Conte when he got us into the Champions League, and you're thinking, go on, really, like you've got, and listen, what I think of Conte is immaterial, but you're thinking you've got Conte, who's a winner. He's just got this squad, which probably shouldn't have, into fourth. And then we start giving him, I mean, like even Perisic at the time was old, right? You're giving him Longley at centre half. You're giving him, I mean, I can't even remember who we signed now under Conte, but Richarlison. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, come on, Spurs. Surely you could have a more productive transfer window than that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, Sav, right, it's the same pattern every time, right? Every time we're trying to get into Europe, right? If you look at it from the very first time back when Redknapp got us in there, right? Before we got into Europe, we spent big, right? And then afterwards, right, they go, oh, no, now we've got Europe, we're going to sit here being comfortable and bringing in kids. It happens every single time. It's a vicious circle, Sav. And this is why the board needs to go.
Do you know the funny thing for me, though, is I find, for me, the funniest thing about Tottenham is the fan base. We got fans, for me, that really overrate what we've signed. We overrate everyone. Every kid is amazing. Every player we sign, you know, I remember when Solanke was signed, people going, that's a top signing. And I remember sitting there thinking, this is a Spurs signing. This is a guy that does good bits every now and then. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't dislike Solanke per se, but I don't watch him. I mean, I don't know your age, Ryan, but you know the strikers I've seen in my lifetime.
I can tell you, I don't care. I'm 34, mate.
Right. Okay. So you've seen Berbatov. You've seen you know, Sheringham, you've seen Klinsmann, you've seen Defoe and Keane and Kane and Son. And then when people go, oh, Solanke's, it's like, oh, yeah. But that's the sort of striker I expect a mid-table club to have. So, look, what do you make of Tudor? But before I let you go and get Gary on, what do you make of the appointment of Tudor? There's lots of people don't like it. Lots of people like it. And then you've got the bunch in the middle that are a bit like, meh. Where are you with this?
See, now, I've said, right, I'm like you now, Sav. I'm not going to give an opinion on any manager that comes in until this board have gone. Because all I can say to them is good luck and welcome. Because it's the way it is with this board. They won't back the next. They won't back the next. If it's, let's just say we get Poch in, yeah, right? It will be the same vicious circle over again, Sav. They'll bring him in, have one good window because we're not in Europe, and then it's off we go. So that's why when Poch comes back, it will be exactly the same. Welcome back and good luck. But
yeah, he's definitely the ace up their sleeve, isn't he, Poch? It's come full circle for me. You know, I think if you were bringing back Pochettino under a brand new regime, I'd be excited. Yeah, and this isn't about Pochettino. I've gone beyond, Ryan. I don't know about you. I've gone beyond the name of the person now. I've gone beyond write the name of the manager, write the name of the. I've gone beyond that. I'm just at the stage where I've hit a brick wall. Nothing's changing. We're still in a mess. We've been in a mess for many, many years. And anyone's going to put the blame wherever they want to put it. But we all know where the blame really goes, right?
Yeah, it's always going to be Enoch, and it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what you say, Sav, whether you was going to be here for the whole of next season or not, right? It wouldn't matter what you say, because there's always going to be those people that are like, oh well, we just want a good attacking football. But then you get people like the trolls that you like, an obvious troll that we know, Matt. He obviously will just talk about Ange, and it's not about Ange, it's not about Frank, it's not about anybody else. We need to all get together and try and literally get this balled out, and no one wants to do it. And do you know what I think it might be, Sav? It might be the new generation that have not seen the worst in the ball, like, you know, like the 2010s and kids like that kind of like area, and that's where I think the problem lies.
Yeah, maybe. Look, I don't know, right? There's a lot of people you can tell by the age, right? So I guess those people that are late teens to mid 20s, they would have grown up really with Poch. Right, they would have not grown up with it, but from the age where you could proper start understanding football properly, it would have been Poch, right? So they've seen it good. They've seen like that, and they think that this is probably a dip. Whereas that was just an anomaly. That bit under Poch and a bit under Harry were good moments in, for me, what's been tough.
A clown show.
You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. We've got to be grateful. We're not one of those clubs in League Two that might go into administration and all that kind of stuff. But as far as Premier League goes, we're not. I have this conversation. I have this with Lubo all the time. He thinks we're this massive club. I don't think we are. I don't know what is massive about this club over the last 20, 30 years. I don't know what's massive about it other than the stadium and how much money we've got. I don't think that any fans of other clubs look at Spurs and go, "Cool, really worried about them." They don't worry about competing with us to buy players. They know we're not winning titles. So I don't know what we are anymore, right? That's my worry.
It's funny, Sam. It's funny because I've got a friend who's a West Ham fan, right? And he says we're just a shit show, literally. And he's not really far off from the truth when you look at it realistically. It's the truth. What are we? We're just an absolute shit show. And I'm glad. I'm glad when Enoch go. To be honest, I am glad when Enoch go. The only thing I'm not going to be glad about, Sav, is seeing you go.
Well, yeah, thank you. It's very nice of you to say. But there's just more to more to my life than football. But at the moment, it might be pushed back a month. But we'll see. We'll see. Listen, Ryan, I'm going to let you go. Gary's waiting, so I'm going to bring him on. Listen, have a great day, my man. And at least Spurs won't ruin this weekend for us. So
yeah, well, that's one good thing.
Listen, thank you very much. All right, I'll see you soon.
All right, cheers, man. See ya. Bye.
Guys and girls, as I said, the link is there for members. I can't put the link out to everyone. Unfortunately, people like Sam kind of ruin that. The trolls ruin that for everybody. But if you are a member, the link is in the community page. However, there are currently, I don't know, there's 450 people in here and hardly any likes. There's like 89 likes. Can we get that to 200? ASAP, please. Big up to Jim and Kate in the chat. Listen, I'm sure you would go all out to get Klopp in. I'm sure Jurgen Klopp would have absolutely zero interest of a long-term project at Tottenham Hotspur at his age. But hey, maybe that's just me. My man, Gary O from New York. I should never sing. How are you, Gary?
Good, man. Just enjoying my coffee, waking up to the Igor Tudor news. Is he going to save us? Is he our Messiah?
Yeah. I mean, what's your thoughts? Like, I've got nothing. I'll be honest. As a Spurs YouTuber, I feel like I should come on and go, yeah, or this is shit, but I'm just, I don't have anything, Gary. I don't have anything.
I think the baseline is relegation, right? You do that,
sure.
You've done your job. You beat Arsenal, one level up, right? And then if you take us to the next stage of the Champions League, you've done great. We'll build you a statue, right? Because that's who we are. So honestly, we're not fighting for anything. We're fighting against something. And that's very tough, right? To like be happy and excited and all the emotions that we really need. So I'm like you. I'm just like, hopefully our players don't all get hurt. Hopefully we have a squad to finish the rest of the season. We don't dump the next couple games. If we lose to Arsenal, oh well, they're in form, as much as we dislike them. And then we'll see this summer World Cup. We know the challenges that's going to bring, and typically we don't do all of our transfers till the end of the window. So, and then if Poch comes in as an American, our team isn't great, so we'll be out, of the tournament early. But even then, when is that? July again? And we know what happens when a new coach comes in July, and we're trying to get players, and it's all the back end, and it's who the hell are we getting? So
yeah,
color me skeptical.
Well, Gary, you know as well. I'm ready for the exact lines that will come out in the summer. One is it's difficult to do transfers during a World Cup. The second one will be the new manager needs time to assess his players. Every manager needs to assess these players rather than knowing when they come in who to get rid of. Then it will be, we didn't have a recruitment plan leading up to the summer because obviously the manager wasn't in place. So we won't see the best of transfers this year. It will be next year. Am I being too harsh, or is this just years and years of seeing this vicious circle with Spurs?
Same thing over again, right? And it's Sebby, what I do for work. Every year we just had it. Our kickoff at the beginning of the year. We set our goals and our priorities. We know exactly where we're supposed to focus. At mid-year, we reassess, right? So kind of around the same time in August, because our fiscal year starts in February. Why don't we do this here? We know our cycles, right? It's the same thing over and over. We know when the World Cup is going to be. We know the transfer windows. We have all the data in the world. We know what players are available. We should be recruiting properly. We should have relationships, right, with all those clubs, with their agents. This is not like we're building something from scratch. This isn't a startup where we just don't have any process in place and any of that. So I'm like, why can't we ever get this right? What is wrong with us fundamentally that we can't just do this basic and build, over the years? We're not asking for perfection next year. We're asking for some stability, some consistency, right? And just give a fuck, please.
Yeah. Do you know what? You're absolutely, I love that analogy of the startup. So you know what I do in my, in my real life. Obviously talking about Tottenham is not the real life. And there's companies where I've joined where they are big corporate players, right? Big blue chip organizations where everything's in place.
Yeah.
Everything's good to go, which is what Spurs should be. I've also joined startups and scale ups where you've got to implement something. Spurs are like the great big blue chip organization, but with that kind of startup scrappy feel. Like, like there's no plan. Nobody has come in at day one and gone, right, this is our roadmap. This is how we're going to get from A to B to C to D all the way to Z. We genuinely have not been able to implement that, Gary. We could go back decades and decades. Since ENIC have been here, they have not been able to implement a structured recruitment setup. And they've had 25 years to do it. It's truly worrying. And what's more worrying for me, Gary, I don't know if you agree, is it's the number of people that fall for these same sentences over and over again. It's the number of people that are difficult to do transfers, is it? Why everyone else seems to go and get what they need. And, I just feel numb, mate. I feel numb to it all.
Yeah, it wasn't difficult for West Ham, right? It wasn't difficult for Man City.
Right.
And Man City, obviously they have lots of oil money, so we get that, but they haven't historically always been this top club. So there's clubs in all different parts of their kind of cycle. We've seen Brentford. Brentford can put in a solid system, right, where they're able to build a squad, and then Thomas Frank goes and they kick on, right? They know what they're doing. So yeah. I don't accept that because, like, in no other part of your business life, your work life, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a cop, whether you're a dentist or whatever, you have standards, you have goals you have to hit. You have certain, activities that you have to get done. And if you don't get those done, then you fail. And the fact that we haven't failed, for a while is just mind-boggling. We fail kind of in football in a way, but business-wise, we've grown. So I saw that report that's saying potentially 18 more months, they think, and then ENIC will sell. I kind of hope they do. Staveley's looking at it. I kind of hope that, it's like, you guys, you've made your money, get out, right? Go give it to somebody else. You're old, you're in your 60s. You don't want to do this anymore. You don't care, whatever. Just, it's time to go. And I hope we get in somebody that actually cares, that really knows what they're doing, or brings in the people that knows what they're doing. And it's not like you need a huge infrastructure. Get a director of football, get a great manager, right? Like, make sure the medical team is stable, is on point. Make sure that you have, the right recruiting. We've got the marketing, right. We've got all the other things,
It's mad though, isn't it? Like, because when you mention all the other aspects of the club, all of those are best in class.
Yeah.
Like our marketing team are on it, right? Like they're selling me shit every day. I'm sure everyone does. You get these emails every day of, we're doing this, and would you like to buy this? And here's our centenary kit. Here's our full moon kit. It's Capricorn month kit. I don't know, like all this nonsense. They get all of these aspects right. They get the stadium right. They get, when you go in there, it is a beautiful stadium, but they can't seem to, like you said, they can't get the actual football functions correct. And that's so worrying for me, that at no point has anybody higher up gone, yeah, we need someone to run this club. You know what I mean? I don't mean a CEO. We need a director of football that can run this show from top to bottom, has got a little black book full of numbers, can bring in the best in class. And we're all sitting here going, bring Poch back, right, Gary? But if Poch comes back under Vinay and Lang, does that fill you with any... I know it's the whole, oh, look what he did before as a coach, and everyone's hoping he's going to turn Gray and Bergvall and Sosa and all these players into world-class footballers. But football's changed. Times have changed, Gary. So what does it matter if it's still under Lang and Vinay?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's the same leadership, the same infrastructure, right? The same processes. And I don't, maybe everybody's going to feel better. I don't know. We don't have the right players. Even if he does come back in, we have to have a big clear out. We have to identify some top talent, bring them in. It's going to take time. So the next year, we're going to have to, hold our horses and chill out.
Be patient.
Exactly.
Be patient. Yeah.
And we're going to suck for a while. Like, that's just how it is. So, but again, it's the same thing over and over. So maybe Poch for the short term, right? Next couple of years will be good. And like we said, hopefully, the ENIC will go. This is a 5-year deal if that's the case. We're not talking about anytime soon. Maybe we nick a cup in the in the meantime, that'd be great. When an FA Cup would be phenomenal, but we need wholesale change here. That's just all there is.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Because as Spurs fans, we are always told to be patient, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's actually true, because with any new manager, you have to say, right, patience, because a new manager coming in, we can't apportion any blame to what's happened at the club before they arrived. It's not their fault. But that doesn't help us as fans, does it? That are sitting here going, oh my God, another change. But Gary, I wanted to ask you this, right? I was speaking to my uncle the other day, and I mean, what is he? 70? I think he's 70 years of age. We were talking about football's just gone crazy. Like, managers seem to be coming and going for fun. I think it's 8 or 9 of the 20 Premier League managers have now been sacked in a season. What hope do managers have? Forget who the manager is and what club. What hope do any managers have when they're given 6 months, 3 months, 10 games? Like, what hope do managers have these days?
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at like the American sports, right? I don't think that we have changeover for the most part, right? Basketball, baseball, American football, that type of thing, that quickly. Like at that level too, right? You're talking about most of the PL, Nottingham Forest have had like 1,000 managers this season. So it is crazy. The expectations, number one, that every club can compete. That's not the case. I agree with Sean around like finances, the FFP, the PSR stuff. Like there are levels. And if you can't get that money in, then you're not going to probably, be able to compete with some of the big clubs. And so that needs to be sorted out. But yeah, it's too inconsistent. It goes back to stability and consistency. You have to create that, right? You can't have chaos. There's just no way in any part of your life. Think about it. Like if you have chaos in friendships, whatever you're doing, you're never going to move forward and become the best, right?
Absolutely. I just, it's interesting. And I don't know whether it's because of the online world, but we all shout and scream so quickly now for change. And then when a new manager comes in, we all say, oh no, I like this one. And if we like that one, we're willing to give them more time. If we don't like them, we won't give them any time. I'm seeing, like today online, I've seen people calling Frank was a terrorist. Frank destroyed this club. And when you're sitting there thinking, do these people actually understand what's happened in the bigger picture of the club? Because we'll do the same to the next manager. If we go down, there'll be people going, Igor Tudor ruined this club. Let's be fair. He won't have ruined the club. This club's been ruined before the man arrived, but he's just the person in the hot seat at the moment. So I just hope at some stage, I don't care if it's Poch. Gary, you've heard me say this before. I don't care if it's Poch. I don't care if it's Mr. Blobby. I don't care who it is, right? But the next person we need to give some time to, right? We need to give some time for them to be able to get rid of who they want, bring in who they want, within reason, and not shit the bed the moment results start going against us, because this is a vicious cycle, Gary.
Grab a cup of tea, chill out, right? Relax, and we're just gonna have to ride this one. That's it. We're just gonna have to ride this wave. So yeah, no, I'm with you, Sava. Like, it would be nice if we could get like a Nagelsmann, right, and a Ranić or somebody like that who's like mind blowing, that we know has great experience and all those things. But Poch is probably the level that we're at, what we're going to get. He wants to come back. He's willing to deal with this. The fans have, an affinity for him, past relationship with him. And, that's where we're at. So there's not much we can do any longer. And then we just have to see, unless or until fans get pissed off enough, right? And, start doing the in-stadium things, start doing the real protests where we have 10 or 20,000 people there, and it's on Sky and it's on, all the other networks over there. We're not going to put enough pressure on them, right? You have to put pressure on their brand and on their bottom line, and then that will force them to make real changes.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I was speaking with Wolfie the other day, and said like they've had 4 managers within the space of 23 or 24 league games.
Yeah,
and you people say, oh, that's good that, you know, the chairman's ruthless and he's acting. But what hope do you have if this is happening? What hope? For example, what if Tudor comes in here, loses 6 on the bounce? I don't think he will, by the way. I think we've got winnable games. If Tudor comes in and Spurs lose the next 6, what do? Sack him? Bring in Ryan, mate? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how can this be a successful model in any industry if you are sacking?
It's not going to be. I mean, I would just look back and say, hey, look at the last 2 years. He hasn't done any worse than Ange or Frank. So you can't really be pissed off at the guy, right? He's playing with fewer, players, right? He doesn't even have Kudus right now or Matters or some of the, the top players that we really need here. So I can't get pissed off at the guy. From what he said, he understands the task at hand. It's a short sprint, 4 months, get a tune, get everybody marching in the right direction, right? Get aggressive, get assertive, get the mindset, from the past guy gone. And I hope that, again, we only need like 3 wins, 2 draws, something like that, 4 wins at the most. So it's not a task that he can't complete. If it happens,
he's not picking us up and we're 5 points off the, and we're 5 points the other way. We're 5 points from safety. I don't expect us to get relegated at all. I don't know about you. We should not from this position.
No, I hope we don't. I hope Forrest does, so you can give Wolfie stick. I think Wolfie's great, by the way. He's awesome. I think we have enough, and it looks like Kudus is over in Amsterdam, right now with their medical team, with Ajax. He wants to push to come back, which is a good sign. Matters, you can see online how hungry he is to get back. Will he be the same? But he's looking pretty good. I think Richie. So I think, this break, give the players some rest, go against Arsenal, just go out there with some conviction. That's all everybody's asking, right? Just show that you want to be there. Spence, whoever it is, do that. And then, we'll see what happens with Champions League. I mean, we don't really have to win anything else. We've done really well money-wise, for us so far this year. And beat the West Ham, beat the Wolves, beat the Burnleys, do what you got to do, and then call the season.
That's where I think we've got to do well, right? We've got to get back to the basics of beating the teams that we should be beating at home. But look, again, this guy, he hasn't got loads and loads of options. This isn't, we're not saying, oh, welcome Igor Tudor. What fundamental changes are you going to make player-wise? Because we know he can't. There's not the players available to do that. But are we all praying it's the new manager bounce? Is that what we're all praying for? It's that first 4 or 5 games where you go, oh, like a Michael Carrick's just done. Is that what we're praying for here, Gary? Or is Tudor that good?
I think it has to be. I mean, you look at his record, and right, that's what he is. He's kind of a specialist, you'd call it, I guess, contractor, like we talked about, where he comes in for a specific purpose. And hopefully, the past issues with Frank, he kind of alleviates them. He has a very direct style that speaks to, a lot of the guys out there, and they're like, okay, this is somebody we can follow, right? He gets it. We're going to play a little bit more direct. He's going to set up the team in a different way. Hopefully he can get a tune out of Mwani. Like to see that guy get a few goals before he goes. And
just to justify some of those millions and millions of pounds we've paid you over the year.
Yeah. How the hell do you get paid that much money and not do anything and just run around like I don't even want to be there? Like we can see you. It's not like you're just doing this on some, pitch off in like Manchester in a park somewhere. It's like you're in front of millions of people, right? And we can see the disdain, And hopefully Romero's like kind of got his head together and he comes back and does finishes off the rest of the season. If he goes in the summer, I'm fine with that. If we have to sell Van de Ven, and then maybe there is a true clear out. So I don't know. I have to be so nonchalant about it. There's, for some reason in New York, there's tons of Arsenal fans, and I just run into them everywhere, and they just infuriate me to no end. So I've
try living in London.
Oh, I can imagine. Dude.
If you want to try living over here in London, they're everywhere. They're unbearable. They're unbearable. But look, it's interesting, right? And by the way, people in the chat, I take your point. I agree with you, by the way, with Michael Carrick. The bounce for me was more that he kind of went in as all their players got back fit. and they only play once a week. So, look, it's like anything, isn't it? Michael Carrick won 4 on the spin, and everyone starts talking about how amazing he is. It's the same as anything, though. It's about doing it consistently, right? You can't just come in different for Tudor because he's literally got 12 games, but we just need that bounce. Can he beat Arsenal, Gary? Before I let you go, can he beat Arsenal? Big game, right? They're going for the title and they've had a bit of a stutter. Can he beat them?
I mean, yeah, any given day, right? Any given day you can get beaten. I mean, I think the fans need to show up, right? It needs to be loud. It needs to be nasty in there. We need to have a little bit of luck. We need to impose our will. He's going to they're going to press high. So, but I don't think we can do that for, the full match. And we need to maybe nick an early goal, and catch them, in a bad spot, once or twice. So it can happen. Like, they're not some Galactico team, right? Like the old Barcelona that just comes in and just pummels you and just can bounce the ball all over the place, or some of like the worldly teams we've seen in the past. So
yeah,
I think it's possible. And, if he did, then man, that's a hell of a way to start your career, the 4 months here.
Yeah. Guys, don't you think a bit too much on Frank? I don't think we've really talked about Thomas Frank, have we? I don't remember talking about it. Why can't we have a proper? I don't know who that's to. I don't know. I haven't really mentioned Thomas Frank. Look, Gary.
Sam and I are old enough and ugly enough to say we're grown up. So you
yeah.
Like,
definitely the ugly bit. Yeah, I'm definitely older. I'm definitely ugly enough to be grown up. Yeah, look, listen. As I said before, managers come, managers go. We get it. I just never want to take away from what the big issue at this football club is. And that's what I said. When people are celebrating Frank going, saying this is a wonderful day for Spurs, not quite for me yet until I see the results that we get between now and the end of the season. I really want to see whether or not are the players as poor as they've shown for the last 3 years, or is it the voice in the dressing room? Tudor is a very aggressive dictator, so to speak. I mean, that sounds a bit harsh, but you know what I mean? He's very assertive. I'm not sure that our players have the personality and the mindset to deal with tough love. What do you reckon?
So when I was in basic training in the Army, right? Like you see, right? Certain people that you think aren't going to step up do, right? When they get that challenge, and certain people crumble, right? When you go through that. And so, I think this is real time. Like, we know that the players have options, but if this club goes down, that's pretty catastrophic. We're not just going to come back up, all the revenue lost, the brand equity that's like destroyed, like all of it. So everybody's got to buckle down and be like, this is tough, but it's only 4 months. And if you can get a couple wins at the beginning, then you're in a much better spot. And it takes the pressure off, right? Yeah. And then maybe you just have some fun. I mean, get out there and play and be aggressive, put in tackle, like score those goals. So I hope that they do have the mentality. And become a mentality monster. Like, just, you guys are getting paid freaking $100,000 to $150,000 a week to play a game. You know how much Sav and I would love to do that with our jobs, right? To go do like paperwork and deal with people's like crap. Like, I'd love that.
Exactly. I think the interesting thing for me with all of this, Gary, is it's just more change. I think that's where I'm at with it. It's just more change. And sometimes change can be exciting, but we have so much change that I'm just bored of it. Like, it's so boring, isn't it? Is this the guy? Is that the guy? Look at this signing. Look at this kid. Look at Spurs fans, right? Sosa came on against Man United. I thought he looked okay. I don't think he did anything really that made me go, wow. And straight away people go, he's got to start the next game. He's brilliant. Now I see why we bought him. We're so needy for something, aren't we? We're so needy for excitement that we just cling on to everything, Gary. And I'm just a bit done with it, if I'm honest. Just a bit done.
I mean, if he had come in and had like an amazing assist, scored a goal, and I'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, he didn't look bad, but he's, like you said, he's a 19-year-old kid, and he's not like Yamal, who you just see, right? It just oozes off of him, just like when Messi and Ronaldo were coming up. They're like that level. Yeah, I think Vinay and Lane got to have to go. Like, obviously, they were shut down by the board if everything is true what they were saying, and they need to go. I think that's the next step. We need some new leadership. If Enoch want to pump in the cash and just stay out of it, right? Bring in the right leadership, then fine, stay, but make sure that we have the cash. If not, Enoch need to go. And at that point, then it's like, okay, then we can really assess like where we're going to go from here in the future.
I just don't trust that anybody at the top of the club will make that decision. That's my problem. I don't trust that anyone's strong enough to walk in and go, look, Vinay Lang, sorry, this last couple of years has been an absolute shit show. We've got to make a change. And then I don't trust them to go, right, Ranić or whoever it may be, come in and take the keys. But, mate, I don't know. I'm just, I used to get really stressed about Spurs. I just don't anymore, right? Like, I get a million people WhatsApping me every day, football stuff. Like, every day I get, you can imagine when Tudor signed yesterday, I must have had about 30 people message me the picture of Tudor going, Tudor's joined. And it's like, yeah, I know. And it just kind of drains me. It's like overkill of Spurs, overkill of football over the years. But right, last question, and then I'm gonna kick you off in the nicest possible way. What are we gonna do? Where are we gonna finish in the league? How far are we gonna go in the Champions League?
I'd like to say in the Champions League, we actually make it to the next round somehow. I don't know. We get a little luck, depends on our draw. And if we get some fit players back, and I think, maybe we go up another spot. Like, I don't think we get relegated at this point. Like, you look at our list, we have some very winnable games. It's the rest of the season. There's like 4 or 5 that we can get there. So nothing impressive, nothing exciting, nothing that's like, ooh, to hang our hat on. But like Spurs, sometimes just enough to get over the line so we can go again.
Yeah. I think that's what we're all hoping for, right? We're all in that mode, aren't we? Of just get to the summer intact, right? Yep. Just get to the summer intact. But hey, it is what it is. Gary, listen, I want to say thank you very much, my man. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your thoughts with us. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, brother. I'll talk to you later, my friend.
I'll WhatsApp you. See you later. Bye-bye. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Kate and Jimbo. No point in getting stressed. Yeah, absolutely. I used to really let it stress me out. And now it's just like, when nothing changes, you just think, I can't give all my energy to something that is just a mess all the time. And as I said, this year will be my last year. This will be my last season covering it because I don't know. Maybe if I'd started a channel that was all football, not just Spurs, I might have enjoyed it more. But it does get to the stage where you're just a bit all Spursed out, right? Just a bit too much Spurs going on, a bit too, like, everyone's so angry about it. Like, look at that. Sam comes in at the beginning of a show. Everyone's so angry and vile towards each other. And I just can't bother with it. Spurs should not be ruling our lives. And by the way, best of luck to Brian Daigle, who I saw has hung up his boots from social media and just said he just doesn't need that stress in his life. And fair play, right? And that's how we should surely all be when looking at football. It used to be fun. I don't know if there's any people my age or a little bit older in the chat. Anyone used to feel like football used to be more fun? I don't mean to watch. I just mean in general, going to the games, watching on the TV, FA Cup day, all these things used to be a lot more fun. Now, and I'm aware of the irony of what I'm about to say. Now it's over talked about, isn't it? By people like me and YouTubers. We're oversaturated with football opinion and football conversation, and everyone's so angry at everything. A manager loses a game, everyone wants him out. A manager wins a game, they're the next best thing. Player misses goal, he's dreadful. Player scores a couple of goals, I told everyone he's the greatest player in the world. It's just a bit too much, isn't it? Sometimes it's just a little bit too much. And I, for one, want to go back to enjoying it as a fan as I said, this will be my last season. I just want to enjoy it. I just want to enjoy it. I want to wake up on match day and go, yes, Spurs are playing at 3 today. I'll tune in for that. But unfortunately, then the nature of everything is we are very reactive. We are very, it's a lot clickbaity. And I don't know. It's just, do you know what I don't understand? In no other walk of life do I really see the kind of vitriol that you see when people, I mean, maybe when people talk about politics, but I don't get involved in, my rules, I don't get involved in politics or religion. I've got nothing. Don't ever want to talk about it. But when people talk about football, the vitriol is just almost worrying, right? Almost worrying just how people use it as a stick to attack each other with. Gutted, you said this, you got what you want, you're not a fan. I see content creators calling other content creators fake fans, and you're like, why are they a fake fan? Sure, you might disagree with them. Doesn't mean they're a fake fan, does it? But it is what it is, right? It's crazy. It's crazy times. But listen, what we do know, guys and girls, is Tottenham Hotspur cannot ruin this day, I don't think, for us. They cannot ruin the weekend, as we don't play for another 8 days. Let me know in the chat who's going to be there. I will be there for Tottenham v Arsenal. I've very kindly been given a ticket. I will be at Spurs for that game. Let me know in the chat if you're going to be there. I always like it when I go there and you get to meet fans and have a chat. It's always good fun. I really enjoy it. I actually like the buzz and the vibe in the pubs around before a game. I actually really enjoy that. But yeah, that's what I want to get back to. I want to go back to a bit more of watching than watching without worrying. And what I mean by that is, as a YouTuber, I know depending on what happens in the game depends on how much hate and stick you get. And what I mean by that is you get a lot of people that the moment a player scores that you've said, oh, I don't particularly rate, like the number of people who have messaged me today going, Chelsea and Villa wanted Bergvall, you don't rate him. And I'm like, well, hang on. First and foremost, what have I actually said about Bergvall? He hasn't done anything so far that's made me go, wow. Doesn't mean he can't. But so what? You said this about this player. You said that. He said that. She said this. And does anyone really care? I think we've all got much more important things in our life going on than football, haven't we? Yeah, guys and girls, it's an interesting one, right? If we get back to the conversation on Tudor, right? It feels very strange. I've seen a lot of people online today just saying this is a terrible appointment. He's going to take us down. This guy is rubbish. This guy, and I don't really know where I stand with it. Right? I don't know where I stand with it. Again, unfortunately, people don't listen. As I said, I'm fully aware of the irony. You've got to use your ears. Hence why I'm getting out of it. Hence why I'm getting out of it. It is a circus. It's too much of a circus. And circuses are fun for an hour and a half, but they're not fun when it's something you're involved in all day, every day. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the chat. How would you sum it up, the Tudor signing? I mean, be honest, if you don't know a lot about him, feel free to say. There's nothing wrong with admitting you don't know a lot about somebody, but it depends. I've seen people talk about the good bits Tudor's done in his career. I've then seen people go and look at the bad bits. And that's human nature, right? Human nature is, we could use one of our own for that, couldn't we? I could turn around and say Pochettino. Somebody will go, oh my God, have to get Poch. Look at that year unbeaten at home, right? Someone else could turn around and go, oh my God, but did you see Poch's last year in the Premier League? It's shit. So depending on which snapshot in time you want to look at, kind of depends on our feelings on somebody, right? Now, what I have seen from Tudor is he's very much a short-term manager, isn't he? He's very much a short-term, get in, get it safe, drop out. Now, that might work for him. Like, he's basically like a contractor of a manager, isn't he? He doesn't want to be permanent anywhere. He wants to be contract so that he can dip out and dip in. And I've got no problem with that. Whether or not there are people who seem to be caring about the style of play. Now, for me, whenever I've watched Tudor's teams, they're quite aggressive and pressing, not really attacking, because for me, there's a massive difference between attacking football and pressing aggressive football. But the beauty of football is that meaning can mean different things to different people. What I think is attacking football might be very different to what you think is attacking football. Other people don't care about the style. They're like, hang on, it's 12 games. This is not the important thing. Right now, we are not here to worry about attacking football. We are here to worry about, are we going to be in the Premier League next season? But as I've said, managers, as we know, live and die by results. It doesn't matter what your name is. You will live and die in football terms, not not in the real world, but you will live and die and keep your job or not by results. Now, what we've got to hope is that he gets off to a good start. Because as I was saying yesterday with Stel and Danny, should he not pick up any points in the first couple of games, the worry, the nervousness, the anxiousness, the paranoia from the fan base is going to be heightened, isn't it? It's going to be really heightened. Then that starts going into, what a bad appointment. Can't believe they did this. Then the flip side to that is a couple of really good results in, if he picks up 4 points from Arsenal and Fulham, people start going, there you go. What a great appointment. Well done. Did the right thing. And, I believe that they call that hindsight. But for me, we've just got to wish this guy the best of luck and hope that he can get a quick fix, right? That's what he's been brought in for. All of the reputable sources are saying that there is no talk about possibility of staying after that. So we don't need to worry about that. And if he knows that he's here for a quick fix, he doesn't have to worry about that. The question I've got is what I was asking yesterday is, what's the player's mentality like? Now, in a scenario like this, are they going to play for the badge? Are they going to play for Tottenham Hotspur? Are they going to play for themselves? Are they going to play to avoid the embarrassment of relegation? Or are they just not going to play? Because it's like having a sub-teacher, isn't it, in a way? Sorry, for any kids that are watching. When it's not your real teacher, it's not the same, is it? That discipline, right? That discipline isn't quite there. That level of respect isn't quite there. Not all the time. Now, this is where I worry about our players, and we're about to find out what are they made of. We're about to find out. If we get into the first 3-4 games and they are running their heart out, fighting for every ball, then absolutely fair play. Picking up some results, and we look at a different team, you could turn around and go, fair play. The players have reacted. The players care. The players have put in a shift. It's all good. By the way, you were a bit of an arse, weren't you, yesterday? I saw you yesterday. Don't worry. I see the comments. And you would think to yourself, fair play, but what if they continue to do what they've done? What if they continue to do what they've done? And this is where I don't know. You guys don't know. We're going to find out. What if we get to the Arsenal game and we're opened up like a can of worms? What if we get to the Arsenal game and we find a nice 1-0 win? There's no time for settling in, is there? There's no time. This is not one of those appointments. This cannot be one of those appointments where we go, he's only been here 3 or 4 games. Give him time. He's not been brought in for that. This isn't a young novice manager that's being given time. This is a manager that has been brought in to say, let's hit the ground running right now. Let's hit the ground running right now. And we're going to see all of these questions are going to be answered. I think we'll probably see a bit of a bounce. Now, I don't know what that's going to look like because the first 2 games, Arsenal and then Fulham away, are not easy, right? They're not easy games. I think we'll probably see first 3 or 4 games a bit of a bounce where we actually look all right. And then my worry is that we will tail off. Then my worries will tail off. And the reason why I worry about that, I could be completely wrong here, by the way, and I hope I am wrong. But the reason I feel that is because that's what these players have done under every manager. That's what this squad have done. We had an amazing new manager bounce with Ange and then just went. We had a new manager bounce with Frank and then, right? To be fair, under Conte, same thing. Under Jose, same thing. All of the managers came in, got it going, and then, and for me, that's what happens when your players aren't good enough. Now, can they prove people like me wrong? Can they go and get 6 wins from the next 12 games and show us actually there's a lot of good players there? I don't know. I don't know. So let me know, guys. 12 games. You've got what? You've got 36 points to play for. How many points will Tottenham get from the next 12 games? How many points do you think we'll get? Don't worry, I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm not going to remember what you've said and go, gutted, you said this. How many points? 5. I bloody hope not. That will see us relegated, my man. That would see us relegated, wouldn't it? 5 points. So let's hope that is that's not the case. Where are we? Coming 10 points. 18. Okay, you think we're going to get half the amount of points? 19. Okay, so what's that? 6. I mean, what, 6 wins and a draw, or 5 wins and 4 draws, maybe? I don't know. And it's a lot of games to suddenly not lose, isn't it? We'll see. I hope you're right, Paul. I hope you're right, my man. I hope you're well today. 18, 20. Okay, all right. Can anyone beat 20, 11 or 12? Yeah, that's where I reckon we'll be. I reckon we'll probably be in and around the 10 to 14 mark. Hope I'm wrong. Hope he wins 12, right? Hope he wins 12 and gets us into Europe. I just can't see it. 14, 12. By the way, can everyone pray for a Barnett goal? They're in Mayaka. I need Barnett to score in the last 15 minutes. 15 points, 10, 12, 9, 1. Oh, that's very precise. 1.5 points per game. Okay. 11. Does anyone think we're going down? Anyone think we're going down? I asked in the poll. Will Tudor keep Spurs in the Premier League? 24% of the poll think that we're going down. Don't think that he can keep us up. If he doesn't keep us up, at that point, are we allowed to say that the players aren't very good, or are we just going to blame every single manager? Be interesting to see, won't it? By the way, I don't think we're going down. By the way, here you go. That away game at Chelsea could be decisive. Yeah, God, we never get anything at Stamford Bridge, do we? We're just absolutely dreadful whenever he gets there. 12 won't get us into Europe. 12 wins would, wouldn't it? 12 wins would get you into Europe. Right now, if Spurs got 12 wins, not happening, by the way. Spurs got 12 wins. We'd end the season on 65 points. That would definitely get you European football of some sort. Yeah, absolutely it would, wouldn't it? We'll have too much. Sue thinks we're going down. Oh, but we're going down. Oh, gosh. Okay, they're all right. Okay. Can't see wins. We're going to see, aren't we? I think this is only my opinion. I feel that he's got to get a win in one of the first 2 to get the ball rolling, right? He's got to get a win to get that ball rolling. And they're not easy. This is not easy, right? We knew going into this run it wouldn't be easy. Newcastle, Man United, Man City. We're now at the tail end of that run, haven't we? Arsenal. Fulham away will not be easy. So, look, I don't know. Do you know what would be lovely? 6 points from the next 2 and we all go, don't we? 6 points from the next 2 and we all breathe a huge sigh of relief. Are we capable of that with the injuries that we've got? I don't know. Maybe we are. Maybe we are. Maybe we have the mother of all manager bounces. Who knows? By the way, is Sean set his show? Can't see it. Sean, why can't I see your Spurs? Nope. One second. Why can't I find Sean anywhere? Hang on. Let me just check, see if Sean set his show. Here you go. I can't see it to redirect. We'll see, won't we? We'll see what he says. Yeah. So I think, look, this is going to be an interesting time for Spurs, right? This is going to be an interesting time. I, for one, think we've got too much to go down, but many clubs have said that in the past, right? Many clubs have said that in the past, that they've got too much to go down. And sometimes it doesn't quite work like that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. I just hope he does a good job. For me, I've got nothing against Igor Tudor. It wasn't really on my radar. I don't think many of us had that on the radar, did we? When we were asking last week about managers coming in. Yeah, definitely, Paul. Definitely. I'm still here for a bit. Don't worry. I'm still here for a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I just think as Spurs fans, we should all want the same thing, right? Like right now, this is no longer about. I can't believe how many people still talk about him. This is no longer about Ange. This isn't about Frank. They've gone. They've gone. That's the old guard. This is now about Tottenham Hotspur. This is now about Spurs keeping their Premiership status and going again. So let's see. No, I don't think people understand, Choppy. If Spurs get relegated, the ramifications would be absolutely huge. It would be disastrous to get relegated. It would be absolutely disastrous to get relegated. So no, I don't want us to go down in any way at all. When we're so close to relegation zone, you just don't appoint a manager that never managed in the Premier League. This is not Hudgick Split or the weak Italian league. The board's gambling again. Sure, somebody sent me some stats earlier, though, by the way, about the success of managers in the Premier League with experience versus not experience. It was quite interesting. But listen, you're right in a way. It's a gamble, but whoever you bring in with 12 games to go is a gamble, right? And by the way, can anyone see if Sean's... I said I'd send over to Sean, but I can't see that his show is set up. Can anyone see if they can find Sean has got a show set up? I can't see it. Maybe I'm being an idiot. Videos live. I can't see that he's going, but we'll see. Yeah, I just don't know. I feel very relaxed about it. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel a little less relaxed depending on the result of the Arsenal game next week. But in your opinion, guys, is this a good game to start your Spurs career at home to them, or is this a bad game to start? If you were him, would you have wanted a Wolves at home, that sort of game to start, rather than Arsenal at home? But Arsenal not winning the Premier League. Yeah, let's hope City beat you, but we'll see. 5 weeks ago, we were 6 points off the top four. Now we're smack bang in a relegation battle. Yeah, look, it's not good, right? It's not good. This is where the big D. We've got to see the character from the players. I don't think they're great, but we've got to see the character. We've got to see the character from the players, and if they don't change this round, then at that stage, are we allowed to say that the players aren't very good? Like, if these players get relegated, will fans will fans still continue to blame everybody else at the club, but not the players? By the way, I don't think we're going down for anyone that's. I genuinely don't think we're going down. Good point. I think it's an interesting one. I think it's an interesting one. The conversation about Prem proven versus non-Prem proven. Lots of managers come here and win things that don't have any experience of the Premier League. Lots don't. I think it's more about the person than where they've come from. That's only my personal opinion. We'll see. Listen, we're all going to be kings and queens of hindsight in 10 weeks, right? 10, 11 weeks when the season's over, however long we've got left. We're all going to be kings and queens of hindsight. If Spurs get relegated, it's going to be, I told you that was a dreadful appointment. If Spurs comfortably finish in the top half and, we're all going to go, what a great appointment. Maybe he should get the job, blah, blah, blah. We'll see. We'll see. Absolutely. Sure. But yeah, sure. Listen, I don't mean the blame goes on one person. I think the whole thing's a mess, my friend. I think the whole thing's a mess. I think that from the directors of football to owners, to manager, to players, I think the whole thing's been a mess for years, by the way. That's Frank, Ange, Conte for me, by the way. I think it was a mess. I think he had that great season. Then the next year, I felt like he just started to go off the boil. But then again, you look at the players he had and that Ange had and that Frank had. I think there's too many moving parts at Tottenham Hotspur. Like, there's too many moving parts. And I think we always want to blame one of those parts. But for me, there's too many moving parts at Tottenham. And I've said this before and I said this again. If nothing changes at the top, and I'm sure you're bored of hearing me say it, if nothing changes at the top, I'm not thinking a lot's going to change in the long run. Forget the short term, because you know what fans will be like. If we have a new manager bounce to go, oh my God, look how great we are. But it's about over an extended period of time, right? It's an extended period of time. It's not about what do we do for 2 months, 1 month. It's an extended period of time. Look, we've got royalty. Look, we've got one of the two Marks is here. Hello, one of the two Marks.
Hello, Mr. Sava. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. You okay? Happy Saturday?
Yeah, happy Saturday, mate. No stress today. No game.
No
nothing.
Stress. No.
Just, the stress of what's going on, if you like, at Tottenham Hotspur. There's something every day, Sav, isn't there? Us,
every day.
Us YouTube content creators have never got zero to talk about, if you know what I mean. It's
want us to be boring. Like, don't you want it to be? I just want it to be settled. I want us to have a good team, a good manager, a good director of football, and we just go from game to game.
Yeah.
But we seem to spend so much time talking about men and women in suits rather than football. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree, mate. It's really difficult because you can talk about so many what's the word? Like the board, the players, the tactics, different factions. That's the word I'm looking for of the club. And there's almost everywhere you look, there's problems, you know. And I think at the moment, even though we know the overall problem is a lot bigger, I'm a bit. I know you don't think we'll go down, Sav, and I'm of the opinion. I wasn't sure when this fella came in because there's been conflicting reports of who's sacking who, who's bringing who in, and all that sort of stuff. And are these two fellas that are up there making any decisions at all? Who knows, Sav? And at some stage, somewhere along the line, they've got to get some proper football people involved in our club, because to be at this stage now, for me, with where we are, with the standard of the player that comes in dropping, I'm sorry, but that's how I see it, and it's been going on like that for a long while. And you made a great point the other week on one of your shows, or last week, You said, 2 years running this is now. We might have run the Europa, but in the Premier League, 17th, and it's going to be 17th, 16th, 15th if we don't get relegated. And for me, relegation's a no-go, Sav. As much as I want ENIC out, and for whatever reason, for the football club itself and for the fans, for us to go down, I'm not so sure that we'd come straight back up again, mate. I'm really not.
No, I agree. I think that I think it's going to be disastrous to listen. I don't think we're going to go down, but I think if we do, it's disastrous. And a lot of people go, "Oh, it'll be good because it'll get rid of ENIC." But I don't think they're quite understanding the ramifications of the money we owe, what that would mean for the complete clear out of players.
Yeah.
Then you've got to buy players for the championship. You've got to put them on contracts.
Yeah.
Haven't you? You've got to bring in players on 3-4 year contracts that you probably won't want when you go back up, but they'll do you a job in the championship.
Yeah.
What does that do for ticket prices, which is good for fans, but is it good for paying off debt and for building the club? And what's that do for the finance? Like all of these different aspects, when people say, yeah, we deserve to go down or we should, I'm not one of those people.
No,
I'm
yeah.
not one of those people.
Listen, Sav, I agree with you. And you're right. It's a great word to use, the ramifications of it all, because it's not just about, on the pitch. It's all the debt we owe. When you're only getting 40,000 in a stadium that owed 62 next year if you're relegated. Do you know what I mean? And what bothers me is that, Sav, we've got some players that are very good. They're just not showing it at the moment. We've got lots of players that have got potential. But the way I see it is, and you could put me right if you think any different, I think if we go down, anyone that's worth a penny, they're going to sell.
Of course.
Right? And for me, your senior players next year as such will be your Odibers, your Bergvals, your Greys, because there won't be no Van der Ven, there's no Romero. You might get a Maddison to stay. You might do. You might get a Solanke to stay. You might get
a dance, so maybe like maybe. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like you say, you're spot on. They'll start bringing a few more youth players through as well, I think, because they're in that situation. Buy for what you said, to get you or try and get you back out of it, put a bit of experience, because and I know, Sav, the championships are different kettle of fish to the Premier League.
Yeah. Oh,
and
it's games thick and fast, isn't it? Like there's no let up. I like the championship just because it's just mental. I love the championship.
Yeah.
It's a lot of games, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there. If Spurs go down, there are clubs that go down. Like when Burnley go down, a lot of Burnley's players will probably stay with them because they're that yo-yo stage of a player between bottom half Premier League and top half Championship. When Spurs go down, Xavi Simons, Conor Gallagher, Paulinho, Kudus, Solanke will be wanted by somebody who's coming up maybe, or somebody right. Pedro Porro, Destiny Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero. These players are not going to sit in the Championship and go and play away at Preston North End.
No.
Right? No offense to Preston.
No.
They're not going to. And whilst that might make us about £500 million in player sales, Mark, it would be truly, truly catastrophic.
But yeah, mate, I can't even, number one, Sav, I can't fathom out why we're where we are now. Again, like Mark says, but I know what I mean is, infrastructure, as far as the ground's concerned, all the false lie, all the false promises, all that stuff, it's built, and I sit here every night when I'm not streaming, I'll be watching you, Stel, whoever I'm watching on the Tottenham podcast and that. And my head goes round in circles because I don't get why a company like ENIC that want to make money, Sav, right, are letting a football club almost dissolve and become irrelevant. I know they've got boxing and whatever they can put in there, and you know, pop stars and whatever. But I've got this feeling, and I don't know what it is, that it's almost in rundown mode, mate. Do you know what I mean? And for a business that
like a going out of sale, closing down, down sale, right? Going out of business sale. Yeah. It feels like we've been, look, whatever we want to say, that's a great goal. Whoever's just scored that goal for West Ham, is that Somerville? He's a good player in, by the way. It feels like, for me, year after year after year, we've just deflected away from the football a little bit more every year. Just chipped away from the football. The football's becoming consequential. And I've never known this feeling. Spurs won the Europa League last year, but no point of me feels right now that this is a year in which Spurs won a European trophy.
No.
I feel nothing. Like, I know everyone lost their minds and it was, we won a trophy, and we did, but the club's in such a mess, Mark, that's all been overshadowed. And it's been like that for years, by the way. I know a lot of people say it was amazing in the Poch era. If you actually think about it, Cookie, and we do need to wrap up in a couple of minutes because I promised I'll redirect to Sean. If you look to the Poch era, I think everyone gets that era wrong, Cookie. And what I mean by that is Spurs weren't great in that era. We had a good team. We put together, but for that 4, 5, 6 years, we still didn't build anything behind it.
No.
We still didn't put an infrastructure in to say, right, well, look at this brilliant team we've got. How can we build on that?
Yeah.
And this has been coming slowly but surely, whether we want to believe it or not. This has been coming. If you keep, sorry for the rant, if you keep downgrading in every position in your team, this is what happens.
Agreed.
People can pretend all day long how much they rate Gray and Bergvall and Richarlison and Solanke and Sarr and Odegaard and Porro and Adogi. And we can have this conversation all day long. Whoever likes. These players are not what I'm used to at Tottenham Hotspur over the years. They are not. No, so I don't apologise, Mark, for saying, look at this forward line. I don't get excited because, Odegaard's got something about him. Every footballer should have something about him at some point because they've made it as a footballer. But, mate, sorry for the rant. It's been coming. Man. It's been coming, right?
Yeah, it absolutely has been coming. And, you know, at the end of the day, Sav, we just want to, support our football team. And I just feel like, it's just being taken away from us, mate. And there's not a lot we can do about it as fans. But, for me, and I just want to say this because you've got a lot of people watching, you get a lot more people watching than on our channel. For me, we've got to get behind this manager now and these players. This is serious, right? For me, I saw us go down when I was a kid, right? We went down with Perryman and Oddle in the team. We got nothing like that now. Yeah. Nothing like that.
Nothing.
Right? This team, these players now, are going to prove or not prove if they're going to have the worth to play for Tottenham. 2 things, passion and pride. They're the first 2 things. Every time you walk out on that pitch. Yeah, but the fans in the ground, please, when you're in there, even if it's not going out, it might be. Yeah. Just please get behind the players, get behind Tudor, and let's just hope and pray that somewhere or the other he gets 4 wins out of the next 12 games.
Mate, you're absolutely spot on. We've got to get behind him. They've got to, for the Arsenal game, got to make that stadium a cauldron of noise, right? You've got to look. For me, last thing I'll say, because I do need to redirect. Last thing I'll say is you've hit the nail on the head. In all the teams I've supported over the years, there's always been someone, right, that you go, ray of hope.
Yes.
I give you that ray of hope. You go, we're crap, but we've got Ginola. We're crap, but we've got Sheringham. We're crap, but we've got Bale. We're crap, but Kane's up front. I look at this now and go, I don't know who that guy is. I don't look at any of them and think you're going to get us out of trouble. But listen, I am going to leave it there. I'm just going to do a couple of quick super chats. Big up to Emma Morton. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and your family as well. Hope you are well, Emma. Thank you very much for that. Big up to Ryan, who said, big up, Sam. I hope you're well. Hope the dogs, thanks for coming on earlier. The dogs are good. They're downstairs. I can hear them being annoying little brats. Big up to you. Thank you very much, Ryan. Big up to Dean Law, always with a super sticker. Really appreciate you, Dean. Thank you very much. Always very generous to everyone, as is a user, very generous. So give Tudor a break. I haven't said anything about him. Listen, as I said, I don't feel either way about it. As I said, whoever comes in now, welcome, good luck. That's where I'm at. Welcome and good luck. Yeah. Because he's going to need it. So big up to him. And thank you very much for the super chat. Please get over to the Two Marks show. Subscribe to those two wonderful gentlemen.
Sav, can I just say, I know we're going now. Can I just say, if anyone wants to carry on talking football tonight, 8:00 on the Two Marks show, myself and Nige, hopefully Sheriff will make an appearance. And, we're going to try and get some people on to have a chat about what's going on. Thanks, Sav.
Perfect. So get over there tonight for the Two Marks and get over to Sean right now. All you got to do is stay where you are. I'll redirect you there. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.